lying. You
No,
are
girl,
lying.
listen. If we didn't just go live, I would go downstairs and get it. It's from Cleante. I'm now fucking up. Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
Honey,
Okay.
fine.
But no, but it's the Miss Piggy lipstick. It's called Piggy Power, and on the actual like lipstick, like not the tube, but the lipstick, like little phrases like "who moi" are like written into the lipstick. It is
That's
everything.
so cute.
It's
That is
every, but,
so. That
like
is so
this
cute.
little like natural coral, like like
But it's a pretty color on you.
it is. It's a very pretty color.
And I mean, it complements the fact that you have, this very dramatic,
Yes.
this very dramatic blue eye.
Yes.
What I'm going to do right now is, if I had my phone on me, because again, at Catt Chatt, we are the heights of professionalism.
Always. Oh, listen, are we both in drag? Were we both on time? I mean,
I'm
listen.
appreciating my chest hair as a contour right now. I mean, that's
mean,
work. Like absolute work.
When you sent me that message earlier, I'm like, I'm in the middle of shaving my chest. We're having drag this evening.
So sorry.
Oh no.
So what I try to do is I try to make it comfortable for my guests. And of course, last week I had Thron Duar, who was just like, I'm gonna come onto your show as Dark Elsa. And I'm like, wait, what? I can't just ask you questions. I have to put effort into this now. But to those just joining us, I was actually going to start this with a beautiful song. If I could be with you 1 hour tonight, but then I heard Piggy Power, and I was like, wait, excuse me,
listen,
Piggy who?
Miss
Bundy?
Yes, the Miss Piggy lipstick. It's so cute. Again, when we're done on the thing, I'll go downstairs and I'll get it so you can see it. It's super cute.
Please and thank you.
And they make a beauty blender that is a pig nose. It's a little snout.
You shut the hell up right now.
I'm not kidding. It's the cutest thing ever. So of course I had to buy it.
So I remember seeing the Miss Piggy makeup collection. Maybe I don't know if it was by Clinique or.
So it's like see. Do you know what? Hold on, I'm gonna look it up because I do have my phone right here.
I was gonna say, as long as you have your phone, you could look it up. I'm gonna do the same thing. Why not? Shit.
Yeah, it's super cute. So when I first wore it, I of course tagged them, and they liked it because
naturally,
because it's a thing. It's a thing that she does. Where now I'm trying to remember like shit. When did I wear it?
Ciate, London.
Yes.
Ciate, London, Miss Piggy. I'm deceased.
Yeah,
and the beauty blender.
Such a cute little collection.
A pig nose.
Yes.
I'm gone.
It's what I put my foundation on with now.
I am gooped. I am gagged. I am gooped.
I put my foundation on it with it now, so I'm just like, like I'm just feeling so dumb.
Feel the fantasy. Feel the fantasy, bitch. Just feel the fantasy.
Like anything that makes you feel more.
Oh, of course. Anything that makes you feel more in character.
The drama.
So, hello everyone, and welcome to Catt Chatt. My name is Tom Cat, and today I am joined by my fabulous friend, world-renowned chanteuse of South Maryland, Amanda Martini.
Yes, thank you so much.
I am so happy that you are here with me this evening. I am so honored to have you on. And I am just so thankful that you are in my life as a friend and entertainer. You are fabulous.
Well, thank you so much.
You are such a dream, really.
Oh, thank you. So I honestly, I was this last spring, I was supposed to make my international debut in London, but then COVID happened, and a friend of mine who's been a friend of many years, Luke, was getting married, and I was going to host the reception. And then another friend of mine, who is now actually starting to kind of make it big time. Like, her name is Miss Holly Stars. Holly Stars on Instagram. Again, find her, you'll love her.
Yes.
She was doing, at the time, at the beginning of the year, was doing regular shows in London. Mm-hmm. And she was like, oh my gosh, if you're going to be here, like, I need to have you on the show. And I was like, oh my God, like I live, I die. So cut to now, Miss Holly Stars has written a show called Drop Dead Drag, and it is premiering on the West End, starring Courtney Act and Monet Exchange. She is somebody doing
names. Those are names, Henny.
And Vinegar Strokes from RuPaul Drag Race UK. So yeah, like I'm just like, stupid COVID.
You are this close.
I know.
You're this close, Amanda.
Yes, I am the chanteuse of Southern Maryland. I'm huge in La Plata. Huge. Everyone knows who I am here.
Well, I am very happy to have you on the show today. If you're familiar with my methods, I'm very casual, very laid back. Like, that was why I had said, like, don't worry about getting into makeup. But then you got into makeup, and now I think it's just a thing at this point.
I mean, I'm also very casual.
Yeah, incredibly casual. Most casual. You are far more casual than I am. I feel like I am too overdressed. I am just too overdressed right now.
So, funny story about being casual. So, the reason that, like, I am sort of like social media where I am today. I mean, I do not have like the biggest following, whatever, but
not that talk. You have a sizable following.
So the reason I'm here now is because I won the Captain Green Lantern competition through LGBTHQ a few years ago. And one of the categories for the cosplay competition was casual Green Lantern. So I had a full gown with a huge collar, giant black bouffant, like train for days. And they're like, casual Green Lantern. I'm like, I pick up my kids from soccer practice in this.
And that was because of, I think, cosplay LGBTQ, right?
Yeah, LGBTHQ, yeah.
So that's hosted by Matt Levine.
Yep. So co-directors Matt Levine, Jay Justice, and Ryan Dietrich. I think I mispronounced his last name. Sorry, Ryan. But their LGBTHQ is currently on hiatus right now.
I think most things are on hiatus.
Yeah, so they're on hiatus right now. They're trying to formalize their nonprofit status. So they're like, do you know what? Let's just take this time to pause and get all of that stuff done, and then come out with brand new messaging and all of that stuff. So I'm very happy to be affiliated with them.
Well, I'm glad that you are affiliated with them, because I think it was because of our mutual friend Dax that we even were introduced to each other.
Yes. So Dax was a judge that night that I won. Pretty much, she was like, "It's the drag queen. It's the drag queen." That's it. But yeah, so I met you at Katsucon 2019, and we were just bumbling along, me and Dax and Mr.
And Mr., my darling Mr.
And we ran into you, and we were like, oh my God, it's Cat. Oh!
Queens on parade. Yes.
And you were wearing your beautiful Lady Genie ensemble.
I was wearing my harem genie. I believe you, Mr., and Dax were in I don't want to say haute couture DC characters.
So it was a little bit of that. So there was apparently a Gatsby party that was supposed to happen.
Yes, the Gatsby party.
And so we're like gowns. We're gonna wear gowns. And I had already had the green gown, and I was like, I'll do like a Green Lantern-ish thing, and Dax is always Catwoman.
Dax will always be Catwoman.
But Mr. actually, Dax gave her the gown that she wore that night, so she just put on a gown, and it looks stunning on her. She looks
I mean,
breathtaking.
I'm not going to lie. I recall the picture of the four of us in the gazebo, and I'm like, I am completely and totally not. I do not belong in this shot.
No, you totally did. Like, we're just being ladies about town.
Yes, we were
Yeah.
definitely. I was bearing a lot of midriff that night, which I have never in a million years done. I have not done it since.
Listen, it looks great. It looks stunning.
Thank you. I do appreciate that.
But I remember meeting you and I was like, oh my god, it's like Tomcat. Like Tomcat's like a famous cosplayer. Like, oh my god.
Oh no, I don't know her. Who is she? What is happening? I don't know this Tomcat you speak of. Pay no attention to that man behind the sequins.
I was actually like, I was a little nervous because so like I had met Dax, and so like that was kind of like, oh, like obviously people are normal, like, you know, because Dax is a little famous. And
just a skosh famous. Her name does in fact has a little equity.
Just a little bit. And so like through her, like I've met a lot of like other cosplayers, and like when I met Jay Justice for the first time, because I've been following Jay Justice on Tumblr for years.
She's so fabulous.
Yes, wonderful, fabulous. And like when I told that to her face, she was like, "Oh, that's so sweet." No, she and I are good friends now. Like it's fine, but
she's an incredibly humble person.
Oh my god, I love her so much. So anyway, like it was just like crazy. I'm like, oh my god, I'm like meeting like these people. Like it's crazy. And you know, and once you get into like the sort of like cosplay community, especially in like drag cosplay, which is like its own little thing, everybody starts following everybody, and you know, everybody's supporting everybody. And so like, you know, I stumbled across you from all of the other people that I knew, and I was like, oh, yep, like, subscribe, all of those things. And I think like one of the first things that like we sort of like talked about was you had posted your Sailor B. Arthur, and you were like,
of this hour.
And you were just like, hey, who else is down? And Dax and I were both like, and let's do it. Like, I'm here for it. And you were just like, okay, like for real. Here's the looks. I'll see you guys in the next con. And I was like, oh, she's for real. I was just being cute.
She was serious. So so I appreciate the warm and loving words. When I met you, first and foremost, your makeup is gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Your makeup
has continued to improve, and you're finding your groove, and I think that's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Thank you.
But whenever somebody says, let's do it, I immediately say, okay, I'm gonna call you bluff. You want to do it, girl? Let's do it. I already got the costume. You just got to pick up the pace here, sweet. But that's honestly how it always goes with cosplay. It's like you'll have with any group,
yes,
with any group of cosplayers, there's always going to be that sort of like, wait, are they serious? Because
I mean, listen,
I want to do that.
I still have that picture saved in my phone. I asked him to talk to my seamstress friend, and I mean, when cons start happening, we can definitely talk.
Happening, I would be too on board for it.
Yeah. Well, and I also have that that Cruella de Vil that you sent me. I still have that as well.
Okay. You know what? I'm glad you brought that up. I'm here to make a public announcement. I'm making a public announcement. There was a group that I had, and it was a large group, about 19 people. Including including Dax, including you, including Mr. Including
Tranquil Ashes was in there.
Tranquil Ashes was going to be in it as well. Tranquil Ashes. Who else? There were just so many people. Small Olivia, Avant Geek. I had Avant Geek, and it was for it was Disney. It was the Disney Masquerade looks. And I have this big thing set up for this coming Katsucon, but there is a very real possibility that Katsucon is not happening this year.
Well, so they did already cancel.
They already canceled it.
Yes.
So then
The
announcement has been rescinded.
Yeah. So 2021 is done.
Yeah.
They have not made any announcements as far as any virtual stuff that they're doing.
Okay.
I don't think they
They
are.
might.
I mean,
But
yeah. In fact, that reminds me, I need to email my girl April over at CatCon and be like, "Are y'all doing anything virtual? Because I will do a virtual show for you." Um, because were you there? You weren't there at CatCon this past year for 2020.
I so the problem was Katsucon 2020 was very close to C2E2.
Uh,
They were I want to say either 2 weeks or a week apart.
mm-hmm,
And it would have been a lot to do, to not only, leave my job for a weekend,
mm-hmm,
but to do it 2 weekends in succession, where
mm-hmm.
I would be traveling extensively. It would just be a lot.
Yeah,
Plus, we were still very nervous about what COVID-19 was, what the coronavirus was. So the fact that I was able to make it to any convention at all in that 2 week period was a blessing. Was a blessing.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
But because but what I was going to say is, so I did my Katsu Cabaret hosted through Eleanor's New Deal Cabaret at KatsuCon
that's right.
last
You
year.
told me you were going to be doing that.
Yes. So I'm hoping if they do something virtually, I would love to put together something for them. Um, but again, the plan is that I hopefully get to do it again because it was standing room only. For yeah,
Fabulous.
for so obviously with any pan, so like they told me that they wanted a 2 hour show, right? So we all know conventions, people have other things to do. So people are coming in and out throughout the whole show. It
Of
was
course. That's,
fine.
that's just how it works.
But so when we were doing mic check, my friend Becky, who was in the show, was singing one of her songs, and apparently just her singing and having it echo through the hallway, our line doubled. Like people were like, "Oh no, I'm
That's
coming to see you."
great.
So at the top of the show, the whole place was packed, and we saw the line out the door, and then people would like filter in and out, and it was so much fun. Like I love performing. Obviously, I love performing for nerds because like they get like all of the
They
stupid
get it.
nerd shit that
They
I
get it.
like to do.
That's the long and the short of it. They get
Yeah.
it.
So like as a drag performer, like a lot. So like I'm musical theater, and then I'm a giant nerd. So I like to try to combine some of it where I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, what would Jean Grey sing? Like what song would she sing? And like and I know Dax does that a lot too. But like sometimes it just doesn't read well to like, your typical 20 to 30 gay audience in a nightclub, on Saturday. Like it
Yeah.
just doesn't quite always read with them, which it's fine, whatever. Give me your cash, thank you so much. Um, but
Get me
like,
money,
yeah,
please. I'm performing
please.
for you, money, please.
But like at something like Katsucon where I was like, oh my god, like they're gonna get it. Like I'm gonna be able to be Lawaxana Troy and sing I Wanna Be a Slut, and it's gonna be amazing.
I Oh my goodness. I felt the very same way when I did the masquerade for C2E2 this year. For the longest time, when I so when people started tagging me in the fan art that Uki the Frog made of the Golden Girls as Sailor Scouts, I looked at it and I was just like, I need to sing the Man in the Moon from Maine as this character. That's a given. Like that
Yeah.
was I had to. Literally, it was my calling to do that.
Yeah.
So when C2E2 presented itself, I was just like, ha, 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 perfect. And it really worked out. And the audience was so receptive. When you have a receptive, captivated audience, you know that you're doing something right. And I feel that that
Mm.
is something that you aspire to. You aspire to have a very captivated audience. And you are a very captivating performer.
Well, thank you. Like, and so like, and I do have to say that when we're talking about like group cosplays earlier, like I don't know if I would have like jumped so feet first into it if I hadn't have known that like there were people like you and Dax and Mister and I'm not no, I don't know if you're aware of her, but Lady Bell Bell, or I'm sorry, not Lady, Baby Bell Bell from
Mhm.
Toronto, and Tay Bobo, also from Toronto, because they're just nerds and they love to do nerd stuff, and I was
It's
like,
always, it's always interesting, and you know what? I'm glad we're having this conversation because you and I sort of, you, me, Dax, Mister, we all sort of immerse ourselves in the drag side of cosplay or the cosplay side of drag, depending on how you want to
mm,
subscribe to it. And it's so interesting because
mm.
there are drag queens that are like, oh well, you're not a real drag queen, and then there are some cosplayers that are like, oh well, you're not a real cosplayer, and it's like, well,
So I mean,
it's so fascinating to see the dichotomy of it all.
and I'd also be remiss to not mention Joe Mama,
Of
from Chicago,
course,
who's
yes.
so amazing. Love her. Just was in Out magazine, is in the
Yep.
latest Out magazine, as one of the Out 100. Like, Joe Mama. But like it is very weird. So I have had, again, knock on wood, I've had very very few negative interactions. Um,
Good.
as far as like drag or cosplay goes. Like the worst I've gotten is when I did my Moira McTaggart
Hmm.
at Farpoint Convention.
Hmm.
Um, I had two negative things. So the first was at the actual convention, I literally walked off the elevator in the hotel. So I'm just about to walk onto the floor. And this man says, I don't know who that is. No, excuse me. He said, which X-Man is that? Because I was wearing my X-Men uniform and I had Moira McTaggart. Yeah, exactly. And so I was like, oh, I'm Moira McTaggart. Bye. He was like, Moira never wore that. So I was like, well, actually, she helped design these
Well,
costumes.
actually, Kyle.
Yeah, exactly. I was
Well,
like,
actually,
actually,
Stan. Well, actually, Bob.
yeah. I'm like, she actually helped design these uniforms, like, whatever. She's one of the first people to wear them, whatever. And he went, oh, well, I didn't know that. And so I was like, well, I do. Like, I know that, which
Well,
is why
I did
I'm
not
wearing the costume.
remember, man. I did not remember X
Yeah.
chromosome. And
Oh,
for your opinion.
yeah. Oh my god. So it's like that started my day. So it's
Actually,
already like
hold on. I want to check my science on that one. If I got it wrong, I'm going to be really upset. The X chromosome is one of two sex chromosomes. Humans and most mammals have two sex chromosomes, the X and Y. Females have two X chromosomes. So, okay.
yes.
So I didn't
Yes.
ask your Y chromosome opinion.
Exactly.
I got it. I figured it out.
So, but like, so then, after I posted pictures that day,
Mhm.
a very, very lovely friend, Dylan, who runs all of the House of X groups on Facebook. Like, there's
I'm familiar with several of them.
yeah, like House of Frost, House of Rogue, blah blah blah. So there is a House of Moira, which I was like, oh, okay.
Perfect.
So he posted me in there, which is very lovely of him. He continues to share my thing. Thank you, Dylan. And someone said, "Oh, is it cosplaying the Blob?" Question mark. Is it cosplaying the Blob? So first of all, I was not that upset, but I was like, "Who has the time?" Like I like
When a
really.
man doesn't have anything, he has the
He has,
audacity.
yeah. So fortunately, Dylan and his administrators and his groups are very quick about like, nope, that's not cool. Bye, whatever. So like that was taken care of really quickly. But like it really like kind of like hit me later. So obviously then during the day I'd been drinking. And then I was doing the opening ceremony show at Farpoint Convention.
Of course.
So I was doing a one-woman show where I just
Naturally.
so I was up on stage and just talking. I like to talk about body positivity and cosplay and drag and all that stuff in between all of the numbers because I feel like I'm Judy Garland and I just get to, talk about things.
Of course.
And
And
so
you
I brought.
wrap yourself around in the wire and you hold it over your shoulder.
Yes. So, and also, like, have you been to number one, have you been to Farpoint?
I have not.
Okay, it's a delight. It's mostly sci-fi, but super lovely. One of the nicest conventions. But have you met Sharon from Farpoint?
Sharon.
Sharon von Blarcom. So
I cannot say that I have.
She's mostly known as just Sharon from Farpoint, and she's at every convention, and she's usually just around talking about Farpoint.
Of course.
But she's lovely. So I dressed as her at the opening ceremony. So I had a T-shirt that said, "I'm Sharon from Farpoint." It's very cute. But anyway, so I was like in my feelings a little bit because I'd been drinking, and I started talking about that, and people were like, "Oh, like all the shock," and I was like, "Don't act shocked." Like,
why are you acting brand new?
I know. I was like, first of all, all of you people here know that this is the stuff that happens, and I was like, I've been very fortunate that I haven't had many negative interactions, but when it does happen, it's like you can't not think about it. Like somewhat, like it's when there's that one little negative thing, and you can't focus on any of the positive things. Like I couldn't focus on the fact that picture of me as Moira McTaggart was the largest retweeted and liked photo that I've ever had on Twitter ever. Like it got over 100 likes. It was over 100 likes, like 27 retweets, which for me is big. I mean, I don't know about other people, their social.
I barely get a retweet. I am not on the Twitter. I am on the Facebook, the Instagram, and the TikTok. I know that there is a very big audience on Twitter, but it's just every time I go on there, I'm like, oh God, I'm going to be everything political at the speed of friggin' sound.
So I have to say, I have found a very nice, comfortable X-Men, like gay X-Men, like group on Twitter, like a very like lovable following of people where we all we're all mutuals. We all support each other's stuff. There's people who are podcasters. There's people who do fan art, all that kind of stuff. And so it's very. Did a bee fly through a bird?
All I heard was something upstairs falling, which could be the cats. Who knows? Max, I think he's trying to kidnap my cats at this point.
It's fine. But anyway, I couldn't focus on like the good part of that cosplay. All I could focus on was like the negative people, which is why I tell those stories, because I'm just like, listen, that was for me, a very successful cosplay. Like it's someone who was very, very like not well known. People seem to really like it. It, did very well on the social medias, but two people said some really shitty things to me. And like, that's all I can think about.
Yep. It only takes one negative experience to ruin the barrel of apples.
Mm-hmm.
And, we as performers, we as entertainers, we as, people who constantly get up on stage in front of people, we demand respect. If we are up there giving you our all, if we are up there putting on a performance for you, there should be an exchange of respect.
Mm-hmm.
And, I feel like people forget that sometimes because it's like, oh, well, you're just on stage. What's so important about being on stage? You want to get up there? Oh no, that's all right. I'm terrified.
That's another thing that I think about when I'm at conventions is when I'm on panels.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously I'm a drag queen, so I don't look like this all the time. I
am a dog.
I mean, according to my social media, this is what I look like all the time. So I'm constantly churning out content for you people.
I get it. I'm down there.
But so I present as a man in like my day-to-day life. Right. And so there comes that like male privilege of like, being able to say whatever you want. And so I have never been more talked over or interrupted than I have as a female presenting panelist
Isn't that
at
terrible?
conventions.
Isn't that a
It,
terrible experience?
it's crazy. It's crazy. Like I cannot. So again, I shouldn't say I can't believe it because obviously it happens, and obviously people who are women most of the
I
time, if not all of the time.
So my aha moment was when I was at Otakon, I think 2015 or 2014, and I was with a group of people from I think it was American Horror Story, Carnival Circus. What was it?
Mm-hmm.
American. It was the one with the big top.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So and Twisty the Clown.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was Amazon Eve, and I
As
was,
it should be.
shaven from head to toe. I
Uh-huh.
was I was a tall, buxom, curvy woman,
Mm-hmm.
and we were walking around some bumble area of Maryland
Uh,
to the Ferris
Mar-
wheel, I think on the other side of the pier.
Maryland's the worst.
Maryland is interesting, to say the least. Was my first and sort of last experience in Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of Oxon Hill.
Yeah, yeah. Outside of Catt Chatt I, which is very like
and
you don't go anywhere.
And as we were walking around, like these guys were just looking and whistling and like catcalling. And I'm like, oh, they better not be talking to me. Oh, they better not be talking. But they were. And that was my aha moment where it's just like, wow, there are women that have this done to them at the drop of a hat.
It it's it
It's criminal. It is criminal,
like
I say.
and again, I hate to like be like, I'm so shocked and dumbfounded because I shouldn't be. I have enough female friends that tell me that these things happen.
Exactly.
But
it
it
happens to you personally, it sort of makes it that much more real.
right. So fortunately for most of my sort of like professional con going career, the panels that I've been on have been hosted by Jay Justice, who is one of the best moderators.
She's a terrific moderator.
I mean, she's also just wonderful. But
And she really is such a sweet, sweet,
yeah.
sweet person.
So she'll excuse me, I'm drinking beer, so I get a little burpy. Come on, lady.
Fucking disaster.
But anyway, so like she like shuts that shit down like really quickly. But we were at Balticon because again, Maryland is trash. I love Maryland. I chose to live here. It's where I'm from.
There are a lot of conventions in the Baltimore area, in the state of Maryland.
And I mean, and
also in Pennsylvania.
Yes, and Jay has even said herself, she's like, I have never experienced more racism than when I'm in Maryland, specifically Baltimore.
Terrible.
Which is terrible. So anyway, so we're at Balticon and we're on this panel.
Literally the epicenter of filth.
Yeah.
Like, John Waters constantly made fun of it.
Hello, Divine. Divine. I have an entire flamingo foyer and bathroom downstairs.
Of course you do.
Because
I'm wearing flamingo.
Of course you are. That is you made that, right? Like you posted about, because I was like, I think I remember watching you make that.
I listen, when I knew that you were going to be in drag, I'm like, I have to wear something flashy. I can't like pull my B. Arthur Curtin outfits out. No, I need something just a hair flashier.
So anyway, so we're on this panel and we're talking about queer representation in the MCU, which is super lackluster. And so we're talking, and anytime I make a point, there is this young man who is like talking over me every single time. Every single time I open my mouth, he like immediately jumps and like Jay just looks at me and she's like, girl, I'm sorry. Like, I don't like. So I've come to the realization that if I'm interrupted again, I need to then say, so remember how I was asked to be on this panel and you were not?
Get the clapbacks.
People wanted to hear what I had to say on this topic, not you. If you would like to be a part of this panel or panels in general, you should talk to, and whatever convention I'm at, whoever the organizers, like go email them and talk to them.
Yep.
But remember, people wanted to hear my opinion, which is why I'm here. I mean, end of sentence.
Like I said, when a man has nothing, he still has the audacity.
Yeah. And okay, so that also he was a trans man, and I was just like, sir, did you not like? Are
Are
you
you new?
seriously?
Are you new? You're new here.
I was very like, okay, sir,
Okay,
like,
in that respect, sometimes it's a little challenging because the one thing you don't want to do on a panel is like offend the audience, but at the same
of
time,
course not.
if somebody's heckling you, regardless of gender, sexuality, skin color, if you're heckling somebody, if they're doing it inappropriately, which let's be honest, hecklers are most of the time inappropriate,
Mm-hmm.
you have every opportunity to basically say, and when in all of this did I ask your opinion? I just don't get it. I don't get
It was very weird, and like again, Jay kept looking at me and she was like, I don't know what his problem is. Like he needs to stop. It was just very it was very frustrating. But I will say that Balticon. So that was at Balticon. Balticon was actually a very cute little convention. It was
What's
kind of
there? There's a bigger convention that's held in that center, isn't there?
Balticon used to be held in the same hotel that Farpoint is held in.
Okay.
However, they started they recently, again, I've only been there once, but they only recently started meeting at it's the hotel that's across from like Tiernanog on in like the inner harbor of Baltimore.
Yes.
Like again, most people know like that like strip of bars, like Cheesecake Factory is over there and stuff.
I think it was so across the street is where Otakon I think used to be.
Yes. Yes.
Then Otakon moved closer to DC.
Otakon moved to DC. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the convention center isn't far from there, but it's still at a hotel there in Baltimore. And it's a very cute convention. It's more of a literary convention, which was kind of a nice little change. So like pretty much our folks from LGBTHQ were the only people there in like cosplay. Everyone else was like, even I would still consider it cosplay, but it was like literary cosplay where they were like generic fairies and wizards,
original
and
characters.
Yeah, like things like that. I mean, some of them, honestly, I don't know, could have been from books, but I don't read a lot of that.
Say, so if there's one thing I've learned, D&D plays into a lot of people's worlds.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of there's a lot that goes into D&D. So if people create a character from D&D, then God bless them. Bring them out wherever you want.
So I mean, it was interesting. So like one of the panels that I was on for that convention, this is one of the weirdest things. It was sexuality and world building when you're building a fictional world. So
okay.
When Balticon sends out the thing to say, hey, what panels do you want to be on? I was like, I don't know, this sounds interesting, and made it like my number 2. Like not like my I want to be on this panel. It's like my sure, if you have extra space, I just want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And they did. So I had broken my foot at AwesomeCon in April.
That was why your foot was in a cast.
Yes. And so I was in my little scooter at Balticon, which was then in May. So I got put in like on like the end seat. So there were like 6 people on this panel. I was like, this is a lot of people.
That's a lot of people on a panel.
And it was also like after hours. It was at like 7:00. So also,
I decided with those after hours panels, man, because they can get raunchy.
Yeah. So well, and again, it was about sexuality and world building. So I also decided to go to happy hour at the bar.
Of course.
I mean, I was rooming with Jasmine Cosplays, who is a delight and a treasure. However, they don't drink, they don't party. Like our room was quiet. It was after rooming with Dax for AwesomeCon, it was like
tamed by comparison.
it was a very nice change, but it was still like
stark.
Yeah.
The transition was stark.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'm like my third cocktail in, and I'm like, cool, let's go do this panel. Like, I'm in. Let's go. So I'm sitting there, and the moderator is talking, and she's like, "Hi, I'm so and so. I've written 4 books about blah 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 sexuality and these things." Next person, "Hi, I'm an author. I have published 3 books on this, this, and this." Next person, "Hi, I'm a published author. This is my book of my softcore erotica on science fiction." Next guy's like, "Hey, go check out my new tentacle porn novel that I've just written, blah, blah." And then me. And I'm like,
and
"Hi."
then there's Demanda.
And I was like, "Hi, I'm Demanda. I do drag and I read comic books." I had so little to contribute to this panel.
But you were on it and you worked.
Yeah. And it was funny. So like one of the guys was talking about, because someone brought up LGBTQ issues in science fiction and how like it's still taboo. And so like a lot of people are talking about, well, you kind of have to think about like what kind of world you live in, or your fictional world. Like, do you want to build like the super religious, and
Yes.
in that religion, like what kind of things do you want? What kind of like is it a repressive regime? Is it super utopian and accepting of everything? Like in building worlds. And so this guy started talking about how he said, "I don't agree with this, but I read this article where this person was defending people who didn't believe in homosexual marriage because there should always be a male and a female because a male is in charge. And if there's not a male and a female, then who is in charge?" And I looked him dead in the face and I said, "The man that I call daddy."
On brand.
And then they were like, and then they started talking about taboos or whatever, and I was like, "I don't know, just go get fucked in a sling. Highly recommend." And then they were like, I was like, I'm just here for like the color commentary.
Sometimes that's all you really need to be.
I was like,
I want to go to the comments for a little bit because we have a substantial amount of comments.
Oh, okay.
Hal Bichelle, who is I'm so sorry. They frequent a lot of conventions as well. Their first comment: "Hi, Tom Catt, miss seeing you at cons. I shared your live stream with my Rocky Horror Picture Show cast as soon as you started talking about Miss Piggy makeup." They also said, "I love Jay Justice. She's bomb." Our darling Dax came in saying, "Only the most casual," in reference to your attire.
Only the most casual.
Hal says, "Demanda, your eyes are on point."
Oh, thank you.
They also said it's natural, which the most natural.
Everything about this is natural.
Dax then says, "Always," which I'm assuming that was in reference to something we addressed.
I'm sure.
Then Dax again says, "Oh, it me." And then Dax then says, "Hey, jerks." Which, perfect. Makes absolute sense.
Yeah, of course.
Then Hal says, "I have that reaction every time I see Tom Catt. I guess that's, the fact that I'm a celebrity."
A superstar.
I'm a superstar.
A superstar woman.
Hal then says, "When I am wearing a mashup or concept costume, I make up something fake that it's from and tell gatekeepy people like that about it." This is in reference to your Moirai thing.
Yeah.
It's from tell gatekeepy people like that about it in a way that makes them feel foolish for asking. Because when you're femme presenting, those people never end.
They don't. They just don't.
Comments. Dax says it's every year, about a week apart. It's exhausting. I think that was in reference to us talking about
C2E2 and
C2E2 and Katsukan.
And Katsukan. I just ripped my dress, so there we go.
Natural, casual.
Totes,
casual.
This like fishnet part, just it ripped.
That's an easy enough fix. Just get a thin thread and just whip stitch.
Yeah.
Dax says that she misses you. I don't know if she
Aw.
was. I don't know if she was explicitly talking to you. I don't know if she misses me.
I mean, she doesn't miss me. I just saw her last weekend.
Stop that. She does miss us. She loves us. I actually asked her to be on the show. If not next week or the week after that.
She listen,
but she is very busy.
She's very busy, but also she's not very good about. So she turns off all notifications on her phone. Like she doesn't like notifications.
I stand.
Yeah,
I completely totally understand that.
So I would say message her again. I'm pretty sure that you guys can set something up. But yeah,
listen, I'm just saying this to be a bitch at this point. I am not one to pull punches, and neither is she.
No, she's not. As someone who's gotten punched in the face, I'm just kidding. She would never.
A verbal assault, maybe, but not a physical one.
Oh, verbal assault. Do you want to hear about one of the first times I hung out with Dax? I love telling the story.
Let's just talk about Dax.
I saw it all the time. So this was Blurred Con 2018. So it was after I just won Captain Green Lantern. It was my first convention. So after being at the convention all day, Dax we were like, hey, let's go get something to eat, let's go get something to drink, whatever. So we watched a little place across, and we're like hanging out. So it just turns like we're just hanging out all night. We're going to the dance floor, we're partying, and I'm like, hey, let's go back to my room, let's have some drinks, whatever. So we get back to my room, and I'm like, all right, I've now been in drag for way too long. I'm gonna go get out of this. So I go into the bathroom, and I come out of drag, like 20 minutes later, and Dax goes, Demanda, you walked into the bathroom a beautiful woman, and you came out a thumb. I fell to the floor laughing. Our friends who are in the room with us could not stop. I was dying. I was like, "You're a bitch." Oh, but I'm sorry, a joke's a joke, and that was funny.
Joke's a joke.
That was hilarious. And now we've been friends ever since, and do it all conventions together.
One of the favorite things that have happened recently, as a matter of fact, Dax had made a status about makeup.
Mm-hmm.
And I had posted something, and I was very honest about it. I was like, I am sure you know this already, but if you don't, and I proceeded to give my honest suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
And she came back at me saying, oh, I know you're not coming at me sideways with your basic ass look. So something of equal or better value. And I'm like, I know. You think this happens by mistake? Of course it does. It's completely and totally by accident. But we love her so much.
Oh, I do.
I do want us to talk about your singing.
Oh.
I would love to discuss that because we are both songstresses. I know that you had mentioned earlier that you were involved in musical theater. Was that just through high school? Was that high school, college?
So I have a degree in acting.
Fabulous.
And so when I was in high school, I never thought that I was that great. Mm-hmm. So I never really applied myself to musical theater. I was like, sure, I can carry a tune, I can be in the back, that's fine. But because boys in high school who do theater are so rare, I was continually cast in these, sort of bigger roles. So I was like, oh, okay, so maybe I'm all right.
The Queen's getting the role of Danny Zuko. Excuse me.
So I mean, for example, I was cast as Cinderella's prince in Into the Woods, which is also that's also my kind of role. You come on, you say a couple funny things, you have a song or two, and then you're done. And
that's it. You're not on stage for the entirety of it. You're not
exactly.
You're your brains out. You get one or two songs, and that's it.
The only two leadish roles that I've ever gotten that have been yes, those Edna Turnblad in Hairspray and Frankenfurter in Rocky Horror, which still are two supporting roles if you actually look at how much time they're actually on stage. I would play either of those two roles forever.
The important thing is that they are infamous roles.
Yes.
It would be entirely different if they were just boring side character, but you can't have a boring side character.
Yeah, no, no, no. So anyway, so then I was in college and I just wasn't cast a lot in college. So I went to like a big university in Utah, and it just I couldn't really find my place there. It was very awkward and weird, and there was some of it was like me, like I didn't feel confident because like I wasn't like who I thought that I want. Anyway, it was very whatever. So
It was a dark time for you.
it honestly was. So when I finally did like my one person show for my BFA degree, I did a song, I did a couple of classical pieces, I did a couple of modern pieces, which is obviously part of the project. And the head of the department came up to me, and he was just like, "You are very underutilized in your time here," and I was like, "Thank you. I'm aware."
Well, thank you so much. I am so thankful that I was able to hear that opinion. Where the hell have you been?
Yeah, and I'm like, literally, I'm here for another 3 weeks. So like college was very weird, but I still love theater. So after a few years of like nonsense, like I got back into like doing some community stuff. So it wasn't until about 10 years ago where I got into the community theater that I'm in now, Port Tobacco Players, that I really like kind of like found my groove. So again, like my niche is like the funny person who comes on, says some funny shit. You remember who they are, so you get a good applause at curtain call. But I still don't do a lot. like that's my niche. So again, so I've gotten to play Edna. I got to play Frankenfurter. I was Domina in A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, which opening night. Opening number Comedy Tonight. We all stand in the line at the opening of the show doing Comedy Tonight, and in the like second or third row, I heard this woman lean over. Why is she so tall? Like, I'm a man. That's why. And people are so
it's a glandular disorder, Mary. It's a glandular disorder.
And people are so confused, like you were running around in heels because I'm in Forum, like the entire last act is just people running around. Like that's all they do is just run.
It's shtick. At the end of that musical, it's all shtick.
Yeah, it's running around and mistaken identities and screaming, whatever. And people are like, you're running in heels, and I'm like, it's practice. Like you just
get good at it.
Yeah, you just do it. But yeah, so and then about 3 years ago, actually a little more now than 3 years ago, I started a cabaret called Eleanor's New Deal Cabaret, and some friends of mine were helping run a little cafe in Greenbelt, Maryland, called the New Deal Cafe. They were like, "Hey, Demanda, we were thinking about maybe doing something like drag brunch or something. Like, do you think that either you or some people that you might know might be into it?" And I was like, well, your venue doesn't really strike me as like a drag bar. Like, if you want drag brunch, that's a bunch of queens coming in, lip syncing to top 40 hits, and people giving tips. And they're like, that's not really our bar. You're right. And I was like, I'm a musical theater queen. I have a lot of friends who are musical theater people. I was like, what if we do like live music, and like I'll bring a pianist in because they had a piano at the venue. I was like, we'll bring a pianist in. We'll have some people sing some live songs. They're like, oh no, we love that. Like, yes. And I was like, and I'll host as Demanda. So that started 3 years ago, and it's been really successful. It's not anything that makes money, but
it's free publicity.
Yeah, but it's our shows are typically sold out. It is kind of the same audience again. So I'm down here in Southern Maryland, so I'm about 45 minutes south of DC. There's not a lot going on around here. And
would you say that your audience is very diverse, or would you say it's like one or two mainstay genres of people?
So I mean, it's our friends. So like any show that we do, like so there's like three venues here that we've been able to do shows at.
Mm-hmm.
So one is the New Deal Cafe, and anytime we do stuff there, because it's free, they don't charge a cover. Like our friends all come up and like sit in the seats, but there's like the regular New Deal people who are just kind of there, and they enjoy it, which is great. I also had my first protester at our Christmas show.
Isn't that exciting when you get a protest?
He like legit had a sign outside of the venue. It was kind
Did
of
it
great.
say GodHatesFags.com on it?
No, it was something
that on it.
It was something about uh this is a picture of mental instability or something like that. Yeah.
How unoriginal.
But also I was like,
do better, Karen. Do better.
But also I was like, have you been talking to my therapist? Like, how dare you? Those are private sessions.
Oh my god, the patient-client confidentiality clause has been ruined.
It's completely out of the window. But anyway, so we've been doing things there. We also do things at an outdoor venue called Hard Bargain Players, or the Hard Bargain Amphitheater. Typically, it's the house of the Hard Bargain Players, which is another community theater, but it's a historical farm that they do lots. So like, I don't know about you, but like around here, when you're in like 5th grade, you get to go do like an overnight field trip. And so like you do the overnight field trip to like either Nanjamoy or Hard Bargain, and like you get to learn about nature and conservation and all the different.
We don't have that here in New York. We don't know her. Conservation? Who's she? Who's she? I don't know who the hell she is.
I don't know what's going on. So anyway, but they have like a little amphitheater out there. So like we've been able to perform outdoor there. And then the third place is we have a little black box theater out in Indian Head, which is very lovely. I've done a couple of shows there, not just Eleanor's New Deal Cabaret, but a couple of other shows there. It's a very lovely little space. About almost 15 years ago, we did Pippin there. That was the very first show I did in Southern Maryland.
That is a monster of a show.
In which I did a quick change into drag for the orgy scene.
There is not enough alcohol that you imbibe in order to do it. No, man.
And girl, I was running around in 6-inch platform heels.
Quick Change, the musical.
It was so stupid, but so much fun. But anyway,
listen, whenever we have the opportunity to be on stage, it's a fun time, man.
Right. So yeah, I mean, like, and since COVID started, we've done Eleanor's is 4-5 shows. So typically, I only do like 3. I do like a quarter. Like I'll do like 3 or 4 a year. But since COVID started, it's like, hey, y'all want to throw some songs together? Like, let's go. So, I mean, we're officially announcing on Friday, but Eleanor's New Deal Cabaret is doing another Happy Holidays, the threequel. And it's going to be Wednesday, December 23rd, starring Tom Catt.
I don't know who he is.
And lots of different people. That's exclamation. Lots of DC queens, Geneva Conception, Logan Stone, Emerald Star, names. Money. Also, listen, Sweet Pickles is from Richmond, Virginia, a drag performer can sing their fucking face off.
That's fabulous.
I'm hoping that they sing. I said, you can sing, you don't have to sing, it's fine, whichever. But beautiful. Vagenesis, who's also an amazing singer. And then like my regular.
I mean, this is a star-studded ensemble of people.
And then like like my regular ensemble of people Austin Kuhn, Becky, no, Becky's not doing it. Stephanie Joya Ely, Alicia Zabron, who else is Kenny Waters, like so many people. Again, I'm sorry I'm not naming everyone. They're like this. Oh, Carmina Vavra from Houston, Texas is doing the
I was gonna
show.
say, if plug by all means, plug away.
So many people. I'm sure I'm here. Hold on. I'm gonna pull up the list really quick, just because I don't want to miss anybody. Because like I'm just so proud to have so many. Okay, so I said Dax, Geneva, Austin, Carmina, Erica Klunkowski, who also helps me make a lot of the costumes that I wear. Sasha Emi, another DC queen. Helena Handbasket, Caitlin Harbin. So Caitlin Harbin is so talented. So she moved to New York and started like her like New York career and was like doing a bunch of cabarets up there. And then COVID hit, so she had to come home. But she's the one who's editing our videos together. She's lovely. Charlemagne Chateau, another amazing performer. I almost forgot Medusa Chaos from Charleston, South Carolina. They are, so first of all, when I tell you that their mug is beat, their mug is fucking beat. So they messaged me at Katsucon.
I've seen the pictures. They exquisite abilities.
So they messaged me because they knew Mister. And so they messaged me to be like, hey, I know you're doing a show at Katsucon. Can I just like do a number? And I was like, sure, why not? Whatever. Like, you know, what's one more? It's fine. We have to fill 2 hours. And I then ran into them like the night before on just the con floor, like at the Gaylord. And it was like 11:30. So, you know, my face was kind of melty and I was like, you know, whatever. Their face was fucking done. Like, I was like, oh no, you're in. Like, yep, you're in.
Who are you? Who are you again?
But Medusa Cast, Tara Waters, Tiffany D. Carter, Zach Ball, and Miss Yeti Davis. So, at the beginning of quarantine, I was in another competition called Mixed Quarantine, which is hosted by Logan Stone here in DC. And Yeti Davis was the winner of the first season. And first of all, the name Yeti Davis, is so great, especially because they're 6'4" and hairy, so like bearded dragon. I'm like, if that doesn't say who you are, like what a great name, and also so talented. Yeah, so talented. They're also like a member of the Gay Men's Chorus here in DC. So, and the thing is, I keep telling all of these, because a lot of them are also musical theater queens. I'm like, you guys know, if you guys want to, you can sing in my shows. Like, you can do that if you want. You know, no pressure. Do whatever you want. But
I was not going to. I mean, the problem is when I have an idea in my head, I never want to. If I have the opportunity to lip sync to a character, I'll lip sync to a character. If I have the opportunity to sing as a character, I will sing as a character. For my, I'm going to spoil a little bit. But for my piece, I decided to do Tallulah Bankhead's version of "Baby It's Cold Outside,"
which is fantastic.
Is as outrageous as you think it is. Like, at first you think like Tallulah is just sitting there, and the person who's, and I just lip synced the Tallulah part. There was no way I was going to do both of them. But I did the Tallulah part, and it was hysterical. And I had the cigarette in my hand. I literally had a bottle of Jack Daniels. And like, when I think the line is maybe just another drink more, or maybe just another drink more. And then she says, "Hand me my drink, darling." And I grab the bottle and I have it in my hands. And then I'm like, then it becomes really fun. Then there's the shift, because it's like, now you're realizing that they're just a married couple and he's trying to like entice her with penis, and it's just like, no, I'm sitting here with my cigarette and my Jack Daniels. Leave me the hell alone. But it's great.
Wonderful. That's wonderful.
I'm very excited to send you this, to send you what I recorded.
I'm so excited, and I think that so like now in this sort of digital performance age,
digital world now, a lot of drag are turning to virtual show. I mean, like this, for instance.
It's just music videos, which is amazing, and and most of us grew up in that MTV culture of like, I want to do a music video, which, by the way, are not as fun as we made them out to be. They're really
the artists who made those music videos had one thing we don't have:
money. And for example, like, you hear like Madonna say, "Oh, I don't want to perform that song anymore. I don't want to do that song anymore." And it's kind of like, but why? It's like one of your favorite songs. Well, when you do a music video and you have to do 17 takes of the same song over and over and over again, you're kind of over that song. So like when I did my Spice Cuckoos mix,
was absolutely genius.
Thank you. But so I did 2 takes in each costume. So there were 6 costumes. So that's 2 takes each is 12 takes of too much. It was too much.
That was a lot. Like when I watched it, I was like, this crazy son of a bitch, this crazy imbecile decided to do that. Right? I mean, brilliant. I mean, my wig is off to you, friend. The wig is off to you.
So I'm filming my song, my piece on Sunday, and it's not a Christmas song, but it's Christmas themed. So it's to Sheena Easton's "For Your Eyes Only."
Of course it is.
And I'm a Christmas present.
No, I would expect nothing less. You are the gift that keeps on giving, Demand.
It's so stupid. Like, so a while ago, another drag performer named Degrassi Knoll, which is also an amazing drag name.
Lovely. What an amazing performer.
They're also a nerd.
They are such a good soul.
Yes. We've done a couple of digital shows together. But they had posted something on Facebook about, hey, if I was to do a 007 themed show, like what song would you want to do? And I'm like, "For Your Eyes Only" has always been my favorite Bond song, just always. And so like since then I've been like, okay, I need to come up with a number to do For Your Eyes Only. And so I was like, okay, like what cosplay character could I do? Like who would sing For Your Eyes Only? Like nothing was really clicking. And then it was like, Christmas show. I'm a Christmas present. Boom, done, ready to go. Let's do it.
I'm very excited for the finished product.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to give away our group number because I think it's so hilarious, but I'm so
don't give it away.
I'm so excited for like everyone, because I mean this cast is 23 people, so it was hard to come up with a number that I thought would be fair enough to give everyone a little bit of spotlight, which is just difficult in general. But I really feel like what we chose, it's gonna be, oh my god, it's gonna be so funny. I'm so excited.
I have to get my lights out of the Christmas decorations. That's all I'm saying. I'm very excited to just pull those out and start playing with them around this tiny little box of a space time.
Very excited.
We are at the hour and 8-minute mark, and I tell you, the two of us could just keep on talking about anything
and everything.
I have adored this hour so much. You are such a treasure. You are such a wonderful human being to talk to, and I'm very happy that I reached out to you to have you on.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Like, I mean, this is honestly what I love to do. I love getting pretty and just talking about nonsense and stuff.
Talking about bullshit.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing to do. Like honestly, it's why I love conventions, because I'm like, oh, you want me to get into costume and then talk about nerd stuff? Okay.
I'm there. I am there. I am too there, in fact. It's so wonderful to have you on. I definitely want to have you back again, if and when the time comes.
Yes, absolutely.
But if they tell the children where they can follow you.
So you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Demanda Martini, DMANDAMARTINI.
And if you would like to follow me, you can at that Tomcat on all forms of social media. I am on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. I haven't created a LinkedIn yet, but it's on the way. Not on the way. And if you want to follow Catt Chatt, this was actually the first episode that we cast on my That Tomcat page, because for the last I want to say 10 or 11 episodes, it's been on my my public page. Now it's on my I can't think of the word, Brian.
Like fan page?
I don't even want to call it a fan page, but like the one is on my Facebook profile, and this is Facebook page.
Yes,
so
yes.
Here on out, this is where Catt Chatt is going to be hosted. Next week, I am joined by Jedi Manda. I'm very excited.
Oh my gosh, she's lovely.
She is fabulous.
Yes.
But I want to thank you all for joining me this evening. I look forward to seeing you next week on another episode of Catt Chatt. Ciao me out for now, guys. You could say bye.
Bye. Bye.